Hello, my name is Andres Gonzalez, and today I will present my evidence number 2 for my anti-corruption course. When a group of people decide to establish a community, a set of norms is brought about, which eventually turn into laws once the civilization reaches a higher level. These laws are often made in the best interest of the community, following a sense of morality, and looking for a just method of maintaining control. However, these laws are often violated in the interest of private gain, violating laws, ethics, and justice established by the community. This violation is called corruption and is defined by Transparency International as the abuse of entrusted power for private gain. The Pandora Papers are the latest example of corruption, as it can take place in the economic, political, and social areas. A leak of information led to a general level of awareness of the lack of ethics and injustice that goes behind the scenes. This is talking about tax evasion and offshore savings, which the government figures, celebrities, criminals, and even large companies like Apple are responsible for. It's important to establish a solid set of rules accepted by the general public. Corruption affects the economy by taking money out of the circulation, and it affects public services like education and healthcare. This results in the violation of human rights, like Article number 25, 26, and 27. Article 25 says that there is a right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of oneself and their family. Article 26 says that everyone has the right to education, and Article 27 states that everyone has the freedom to exercise one's rights so long as they don't affect somebody else or they break the law. Corruption takes away the trust that's necessary between the people and their government. Leaders must look out for the general best interest, and if not, the vast majority of citizens will suffer the consequences. In the social aspect, corruption feeds immorality and unjust actions and philosophies. So when the rules are no longer followed and justice is no longer in the picture, it all falls apart. A main issue that feeds corruption is the centralization of power, as citizens should be the ones that represent the country. And this is why democracy is a good model to follow, as it lends the citizens power and the ability to choose the people that will govern them. This, however, is not free from corruption, as votes can be altered through bribes or through technology nowadays. There are people, citizens, and organizations that take on the task of eliminating corruption from different communities. And this creates a sense of responsibility for the betterment of the community, and it establishes a social environment that reverberates on the general public. It sets an example, and it establishes a sense of morality, ethics, and laws, and justice that should be followed. First off, we have to understand the issue before attacking it. And one thing that may be helpful is the understanding of the rational choice theory, which is basically the maximization of the benefit of oneself. It's only self-interest and setting aside the consideration for other people. If it affects them, but it benefits me, it doesn't matter, it benefits me. Now we'll listen to an interview that was conducted to a student called Ana Paula Ibarra Caballero, who is a 20-year-old medicine student at the Tec de Monterrey, Campus Guadalajara. She was asked about a case exposed by the Pandora Papers, which is Baker McKenzie, America's biggest law firm, which had ties to tax evasion for multi-million-dollar companies and criminals.
I will consider tax evasion through the use of offshore tax havens an act of corruption, yes, because usually it's politicians or wealthy people who are trying to avoid paying their taxes to have more money. And usually, if it's politicians, then they're supposed to be the example for the government, the example for the people, and they're the ones having themselves in mind instead of giving away for their government, giving away for their people, taking care of their country. They're the main people who are supposed to pay their taxes. And if they're not the example, then who will ever be the example, you know? So yes, I would consider it corruption because it's stealing money that they're supposed to be giving back.
The corruption exposed by the Pandora Papers promotes greed at the expense of others, as explained by the rational choice theory. This results in a detrimental model for society. There are two main reasons that corruption continues to take place every day: greed and lack of interest for the common good, as well as a lack of education. And according to Esongu and Wachuku, the availability and efficiency of public education greatly influences the lower level of corruption. Once the set values are instilled within a person, the search for the common good becomes an easier concept to understand and is even more desirable. corruption isn't a problem that you can tackle from solely the economic aspect or solely the political aspect or the social aspect. They are all interconnected. And in order to tackle the problem appropriately and achieve the greatest level of success, it must be attacked from all three places through education.